Hi, welcome back to Brant Life. I'm Stacey Farrant and filling in for Dave Carroll today. Hope you don't mind because you're stuck with me for the rest of the afternoon. I have a guest with me here, Vicky Spadoni, and we were just reminiscing on the break about the fact that we met here about 7 years ago on Inside Brant.
Yeah.
And, we've both changed hats over the years, but we're both still continuing to, work in the community. So welcome back. It's nice to see you off the pages of Facebook in reality. Facebook's great because you get to keep in touch, but it's really nice to connect with people in person. And I see you've brought a friend with you. Vicky, you're with the Autism Service Dogs.
Yeah.
And you've brought Matrix with you today.
Yeah.
And now I have to admit, it's one of these things when you walked in and you were trying to give Matrix, his instructions when he came in. Yeah. We don't know how. We often don't know how to treat these dogs. Are they pets? Are they working? Do they want to be loved? Are we supposed to approach them? Can you help us through the misconceptions of how are we supposed to behave around these pets?
Service dogs?
Yeah.
Matrix is a autism service dog. So he supports kids with autism, and he is, and all of our dogs, when this jacket is on, the dog is working.
Right.
So that's why we try to get out and educate the public on proper protocol, because is he adorable? Yes.
Oh,
Do you want to just love him up? Absolutely. But he's working. So like I always tell people, that if the dog, has a jacket or a harness, the general population is to ignore them.
Right.
Because if they're putting their hands on them or they're putting their hands out to smell, the dog is automatically going to focus on you and not me, his handler.
Right.
And when our dogs are placed with a child with autism and the parents are the main handlers, we want the dog to show that same respect to them. So oftentimes, you will hear people say, please don't touch my dog.
Right.
Like, really, you're not even supposed to talk to the dog.
Right.
But when we come out and we do public awareness forums, I take it sort of as another training opportunity as well. Right. So I do bend the rules a little bit with Matrix, but he knows what's right and what's not.
Right. So now, does Matrix live with you then on a regular basis?
Yeah, Matrix is the ambassador dog for Austism Dog Services, which I'm the executive director, and we've moved our head office to Brantford. So we're trying to get out and do some more community awareness, and he's our ambassador dog, but he also supports my son at home.
Right.
So he works continually. I always say, Matrix is the dog that has raised more money than I have for the organization. So
he's never off the clock for Matrix.
He's a keeper.
So now, does he wear his harness at home full time as well?
No. When we get home, the jacket comes off, and I can assure you that as soon as, if I was to take that jacket off now, he'd be running around like any other dog would be. He'd be wagging his tail, trying to lick and kiss you. Yeah. But they know, because we get our puppies in jackets at 8 weeks old.
Wow.
So they become to realize the jacket goes on, I'm working.
It means business.
Yeah.
So now, we're all very familiar with guide dogs for, the blind. Mm-hmm. How is it different for an autistic person?
Yep. So our dogs are trained safety first and foremost. People that have experience with autism know that the kids and the young adults, the youth and young adults, because we service from the age 3 to 18, they often will, get a thought or a spark in their head, and they may want to go before mom and dad want to go. So our dogs are trained for safety. So here on Matrix is a handle. My son is not a bolter. So when we go out in public, he's holding the handle. Right. If this handle drops, Matrix immediately puts his head in front of our legs to say, you need to stop, something's happened. Wow. Other kids that are bolters or like to run away and they are fast, the parents have the option of tethering the child to the dog's vest. As soon as that gets pulled, the dogs are trained to go into a sit stay or a down stay. And what they do, Stacey, is they create an anchor. so that the child's not able to bolt out into traffic and get hurt or worse. And it gives the parents enough time to regain control of the situation. Wow. The parent is always the main handler with these dogs until the child gets old enough that they're able to, you know, give commands and do the proper training. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's just the relationship that is formed between dog and child is amazing. Some of our kids, before they got a dog, never spoke.
Wow.
They get the dog and they're saying dog, you know, they're saying come, you know, their vocabulary just blossoms.
That whole pet therapy really.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, they're a huge companion,
Yeah.
and for a lot of our kids, they're their best friend.
Yeah.
You know, and they go everywhere with them. I was while we were waiting, I was telling the story about someone asked, you know, how does Matrix benefit your son? Right. My son is addicted to chocolate chip cookies. It's his fixation.
Yeah.
So when we would go grocery shopping, it would often create a scene because he's got 24 boxes of cookies in our cart, and he's putting them in, we're taking them out.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, you know, my husband and I, we wouldn't be able to do it together.
Right.
Now with Matrix, we can do it together.
Right.
Because we give him the opportunity to put in one box of cookies, and then we say, okay, now let's go get Matrix his cookies.
Right.
And everything is about the dog.
To refocus.
And just, it's just, the bond, the relationship is absolutely amazing.
Well, that's incredible. There's so many questions, and unfortunately, we only have a little over a minute left. There's just there's never enough time, is there? Because so obviously, Matrix is he a poodle or a labradoodle?
He's a purebred standard poodle.
Standard poodle. So
yeah, he's 3 years old, and he'll work until he's 10. All of our dogs, we follow all of our dogs until we retire them at 10, and then they're allowed to live out the rest of their life as a family pet. Aww. And normally our families that have had the dogs just adopt them at that point. But you know, I guess the main thing to say is we have a huge waiting list in Brantford for dogs, and each dog is valued at $25,000. So, you know, it's just to get the word out that Austism Dog Services, we're here, we're supporting the community. If the community can please support us.
Well, we really appreciate you being here. We hope that families will continue to support you guys, and thank you again for being here.